Salutations guys, and thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Let Dark Souls Teach You. And the first thing you might notice is, hey, this guy's got face cam on. I don't know, I just felt like doing that. Thought that might be a better way to, communicate. It's a little bit more personal that way. I'm not just some boring monotone voice in the ether. But anyway, today we're going to talk about a few things such as leveling up, only a little bit, and most importantly probably exploration. We're going to follow the trend of letting Dark Souls teach you how it should be played, but we're going to get into some fun stuff today. I'm not going to spoil everything. I'm not going to get into every single part, of the game, but I'm just going to cover the basic stuff that I think is important for you to be wary of as a new player. So without any further ado, let's get started. So after the crow takes us to Firelink Shrine, we've got a bunch of stuff to take in. I always like talking to this guy first.
Your face, you're practically hollow.
He's just basically an info dump. He just tells you a whole bunch of stuff. He might give you a little bit of context. If you want to talk to him and exhaust his dialogue, that's fine. You can do that. I did it my first time, but it's not overly important. But the main thing that I really want to nail in here is that there's a few ways that we can go. Right from the get-go, you're being introduced to a very common theme throughout Dark Souls, and that is there will always be many ways to go. You have that path over there. You've got this one over here, and then you've got this one over here. Let's start over here. See, now this place seems innocent enough. Oh, but it's a graveyard. Doesn't seem too bad. If you see treasure, you obviously want to grab it because it's treasure after all. But what you see right now is trouble. See these skeletons? You don't want to mess with them. See how I'm doing no damage to them? And they're doing decent damage to me, especially since they're ganging up on me. Especially with that blood loss debuff, that's not pretty. Now I'm dead. See, that should be a pretty clear sign that if you're doing no damage and getting destroyed by these guys, you probably shouldn't go here yet. This is actually a mid to late game area, depending on which order you decide to take on, the later game in. But the bottom line is, you don't want to go there yet. So what are you going to do? Well, if you fail in one path, you might want to take another. Go up these stairs, and now you see some hollow enemies. Right off the bat, you're killing them in 2 hits. That should be more of an indication that you should go this way. Obviously, you want the treasure, you're going to kill this guy. You might have killed him, but you're not out of the woods yet, because you have a guy throwing firebombs at you. Always be aware of your surroundings. I'll probably say that a lot of times to the point where you'll likely get sick of it. See, now right up here we have one of the more subtle, but one of the more important lessons that Dark Souls will teach you in the early game. Your standard attack is not working. You're hitting the wall because it's a wide swing attack. Change your method of attack. Switch to two-handed. There you go. It's a more vertical attack that does more damage and actually hits your enemy. You always want to be prepared to adapt based on your environment, and if you get poisoned, well, hey, now you know for next time. I was very apparent about the importance of exploring, so anytime you see an open room, especially if a mob just came out of it, don't be afraid to look around. There's nothing to fear from exploring. So yeah, confession time. I wasn't too happy with my recording because I actually recorded this little area before, and I really wasn't happy with how it turned out. My audio and just some of the gameplay. I just didn't think it really well reflected what to do. Things weren't really lining up, so apologies for that. But anyway, we once again are given 2 paths. You got forward and sideways. You take the side route and take a look at that. There's a bonfire. That's the first one since Firelink Shrine, which was the start of the main game area. Now leveling up, you don't have enough. Don't worry, you're very soon going to likely come to the points where you're not going to have enough points to level up every time you're at a bonfire. Leveling up really is not a key thing to worry about. It's just kind of something to keep in the back of your mind. Like I mentioned earlier, you don't want to get greedy and rush headlong into any situation because you are going to get punished. What you want to do is make sure you're clear behind you and rush forward. These guys are throwing firebombs at you. Do you really want to be sticking around for that? Get in this room because you are going to get ganked. Kite them around in circles, get some wider attacks. Easy game. Easy life. This is another one of those doors that doesn't open from the side, but again, this side. Keep that in mind. You'll be coming back here. When you're coming across mobs in these settings, this is the perfect opportunity for me to teach you how to crowd control. Instead of facing them out in the open like that, you can just go up these stairs and have them follow you more like a single file. Think of the Battle of Thermopylae Pass from 300, you know, ooh, hello. Kite them in a, you know, smaller, more narrow area so you're able to abuse them easier. And, exploit their AI, if you will. Of course, this guy's gonna be a dick. Fuck you, buddy. Probably not gonna have anything useful, but it doesn't hurt to loot. Like I said, I cleared this area earlier. I opened the store using the master key. And my exploration was rewarded with an item in this chest, which we'll look at later. You drop down here, once again, there are multiple paths. Well, I'm gonna take out the immediate threat over here. See, they have shields that are blocking your attacks, obviously. So what you want to do is, don't just swing relentlessly like this, because they usually block your attacks a lot more, and you will not be able to interrupt their attacks. Whenever you see an enemy with a shield, go for a two-handed heavy attack. It'll break their guard and do higher counter damage, and you'll have a much easier time with it. So we go down this path over here, and there's nothing here. Well, there was. Again, my fault for messing up recordings earlier, but there's an elite mob down here who doesn't respawn, sadly, so I can't show you. But there's an elite mob that, let's just say there's a few ways to deal with him. You can either ignore him and come back when you're a higher level and can output higher damage, or you can parry him. That's the game telling you that there's always more than one way to deal with something. Alright, so we go to this area over here, and I opened it with a master key, but I'm going to show you something that really destroyed me quite a bit on my early playthroughs of this game when I first started, and likely a lot of other players as well. Go down this hidden area because exploration is everything, and you're going to come to find something. Look at this mad guy. Look at him. He's got a really big weapon, and he takes almost all of your stamina when you block an attack. You attack him, he blocks, he does sick damage, and look. Look at that. He takes no damage from your attacks, and he blocks every bit of damage you try to put out. So, should we try and fight him? Well, being a not super linear game, you can come back at any time, but watch what happens when I try to take this guy head on. He almost killed me with a one-handed attack. We are not going to mess with this guy. We're going to come back later. If I was you, I would actually Homeward Bone or just really hightail out of here because he can follow you. Can and probably will follow you because this is Dark Souls and every mob you see is a fierce predator that wants your head. Yep. He's kind of clipping through the wall. Hopefully he stays there. We're just going to keep moving. Now there would be a fog door here, but like I said, I cleared this area and there was a boss over here. It's kind of sucky. I don't have any footage of him, but he's actually not that important. I don't know. I'm gonna come out and say I don't really know why he was put in the in this part of the game. He's literally like a reskin of the first boss. He has pretty much the same attack patterns, and your methods of overpowering him are pretty much the same. If anything, he's a watered down version of the first boss. So don't worry about taking him on. And now over here, NPC. I talked to him already, again. Don't worry, I didn't do anything, like beyond this point, I didn't do any recording, so there's not going to be any more of, oh, I did this, but, I'll tell you what happened, so that stops here. This guy gives you an item that you can use to summon him to help you in a boss fight. Several boss fights if you follow his quest line. I'm not going to spoil those for you, but it's definitely good to make friends and get on the good side of these NPCs, because they're ultimately going to help you. See, that's a door that's locked, but it can be opened. Because it's locked. You'll be going there later. Now this looks like a pretty ominous sight. It's a dragon who means business. You don't want to linger here for too long. Run like a mad hen and find cover. Because he's a dragon, what's he gonna do? He's gonna try and toast you. Once again, we got multiple paths. This looks a little bit precarious. Let's just turn around and check the other path. If you look carefully, that's where our first bonfire was, over there. If you look at this ladder, I already did it, but you can kick it down, and you can descend. Now you just unlocked a massive shortcut, and you don't have to run around all those guys again. That's another big thing about Dark Souls, is it's full of shortcuts. A lot of places you see, you're going to be able to come right back to in a very efficient way from the bonfire, like that ladder right there. Instead of going all around and killing those guys again and worrying about the dragon all over again, you can just climb up that ladder and avoid it. Because you already did it once. You don't have to go through it over and over again. It makes the whole experience much less frustrating, and one of the many things that goes into what I think is the brilliant Dark Souls leveling design. Now, we have enough points to level up once. I'm not going to say it again, but I'll say it one more time. Don't worry about stats. I'm just putting it into health, because why not? Now we can be on our way again. So now, we go to this other path over here. It's looking a little bit precarious, so be careful. We got some mobs over here. Easy mode, just whack them a few times, take them out. But when he puts his shield up, that's when you want to be careful. Especially this guy. He has a shield and a wide reach. You can either wait to try and parry him, like I just failed at, but succeeded at the second time, or you can employ the heavy attack to break his guard, like I suggested earlier. That's what I recommend for new players, is breaking his guard with a heavy attack. But if you want to try your timing at parrying, by all means. And you definitely want to get rid of him because, yeah, it's kind of precarious. You don't want to have to deal with that. Yay, a rat gank. Bait their attacks, whack them. These rats can poison you, and they attack very quickly. You do not want to let them get 2 attacks off consecutively. They will poison you, and you're not going to be happy about that. I personally suck at handling that. They're stupid easy early game mobs, but I still manage to get poisoned here sometimes, so juke them out and whack them, GG. Once again, options. This is a closed gate. You can't open that. But you see there's a bonfire there. There is no clearer indication that you're going to go somewhere than a bonfire being there. So be patient, you will be going there. It's not even required, it's actually a very optional area to go to, but it helps with shortcuts. It involves you running past the dragon, which I will show you how to do in a little bit. Now, this is a gauntlet. You see a big beast, a bunch of hollow soldiers, and archers up top. This is definitely one of those sit back and assess the situations before rushing in. So if you can pull them one at a time, that's my biggest suggestion. Take them out one by one. Now you can assess things. Break his guard. There you go. So upon observation, you see there's a staircase over here. But there's still several mobs waiting for you, and that gate just closed on you, so you can't get through the main path. Alright. Now you can assess. That gate's closed. What are your options? Take out this guy. It'll just ruin your day if you don't. But if you assess the situation, you'll see there's a staircase right there. But our friend Mr. Iron Bull doesn't want us to go anywhere. So what you gotta do is you gotta be quick. Hop off here, get in there, and hurry the frickety frack up, because you do not want to get hit by that guy. He hurts a lot. But see, now this is really the game telling you, yeah, there's really nowhere else you can go. He's kind of blocking your way back if you want to go back. So you have no choice but to press on. Never charge into any situation headlong, because you never know what's waiting for you. An ambush. That's very common in Dark Souls. They're easy mobs, but let me tell you, when they start spamming their attacks, they really do hurt. They will demolish your health, especially at the early game, if you have a bunch of them spamming you. Exploration, you've got a key. So that's another little thing I like. Dark Souls will incentivize you with treasure. Now, adventurers want treasure. But what are you going to do to get it? Now, I am horrible at platforming, and Dark Souls likes to make you do that sometimes. So just be careful, grab your treasure. It's a nice little bit of a soul. That'll give you some points when you want to level up. Nothing major, but every little bit counts in the early game. Exploration. See now, what I like to do with these guys is sneak up on them. Because backstabs genuinely tend to work best when they don't know you're coming. Get right behind them. There you go. Now, I'm not leveled too much, so that didn't do a lot of damage, but we're going to wreck him anyway. Heavy attacks right there. There you go. And from this corpse over here, you just looted a Knight Shield. You can equip that and you can check the stats. They're actually worse than what you currently have, but every bit of loot is worth picking up at least once, so you can look at it and find out what you like. Or you can do what I always, well, not always, but sometimes do, and just play Fashion Souls. For example, do you like the way that looks? Some like the way that looks better than the other shield. There's nothing wrong with just finding what looks better, because the stats and stuff on gear and items aren't massively important. It's more skill-based than item-based. Items can help you, but it's more skill-based than item-based. So at the end of the day, just go with the gear you like. See now, that looks a lot like the gate that was closed on you earlier. Always keep in mind the keys you receive, and think about any locked doors you may have come across. A key you get much later could be relevant to a door you came across much earlier. Now, open this up, because it might not benefit you a whole lot at this point, but any shortcut you can have makes a difference. This looks like a pretty grand area, so expect a fight. Study your enemies' patterns, and try to overcome them. See now, big open area, big bad oh! I genuinely wasn't expecting him to shoot at me from this early out. But yeah, that's a bit of a predicament. You've got a guy shooting at you from up there, you got a big guy with a big shield and weapon up there, and you're out of healing. So what are you going to do? Well, me personally, I'm not too daring. I'm going to run past this for now and see what I can find. That's where I came from. This is a dead end. I'm just going to run. There's a pathway up here. Why not follow it? It's an open world game. It's the only other path I can go. It seems kind of promising. I hear the slight sound of hammering. Could that mean something? But that's not important because you just found another bonfire. When you're a new player in Dark Souls, you are going to love every time you find a bonfire. It's going to feel so rewarding. You're going to feel like you earned it, and it's going to be a big sigh of relief because you don't have to run through everything all over again. Now that we have a bonfire, we can kind of assess our immediate surroundings a little bit. We got a blacksmith over here, but you go just past him, and you see this mother hubber right here. Big monster, get in his face. Once again, you see you're doing no damage. I don't think I need to set the example I set in the beginning of the game. I think you've got that by now, that if you're doing no damage, you probably shouldn't attack him right away. So, we're going to go back the way we came, because when we were in that church, there's a few things we didn't look at. You don't want to leave any stone unturned before leaving to go to the next area in Dark Souls, because you want to explore everything. You know, it's kind of an open world, you know, action RPG. You know, you want to really get the most of your surroundings when you're in them. Alright. See now, there is a mage up there. You don't want to fight a big guy while you're getting shot at, so you're going to get his attention, move back a little bit. Now what I like to do is run to a nice open area so I can fight him without much of a hindrance. Wait for his attack patterns so you can see what he's going to do. Big overhead slams. You do not want to get in the way of that because it really hurts. So do the tried and true method of circling around him, waiting for his attacks to land, get him 1 or 2 hits, rinse and repeat. He's nowhere near as tanky as that other guy, but he is still kind of tanky. However, as you can see, I'm still doing meaningful damage to him. So you definitely want to be taking him out. Don't let him drink. Finish him off. There we go. 800 souls and a Titanite shard. That's going to be used for upgrading weapons, but I'm not going to go too detailed into that. I just, you know, I'll show you the basics of leveling up weapons later, but I don't want to go too in-depth because it's not a weapon guide. It's a, you know, it's a letting the game teach you guide, if that makes any sense. But what I just looted was a Firekeeper's soul. That goes to Firekeepers. You can give them that and they'll actually make your Estus flask stronger. Not by a whole lot, but by every bit, especially in the early game, that matters. Ooh, he's ready to parry me. Alright, now see, this is another one of the very, in my opinion at least, very good lessons the game teaches you in the early game. You want to take out that dickhead that was shooting at you before. But you don't want to be overzealous because there's a lot of guys ready to gank you here. Use the hallway to your advantage. My best advice here is wait for them to attack, do a wide attack, back up. That mage, however, might follow you, and he might try to piss on your day, so get ready for that. Yep, he's shooting magic. You don't want to be in his way. So back up, lean in, go for an attack, back up again. Wait for your opening, clear him out. Again, individually, these guys are nothing, but if they gang up on you, they are such a pain in the ass. Use the narrow corridors to your advantage. They can't surround you, but you can get the reach advantage over them because you have more reach than they do. They have these little stubby, broken short swords. You have a longer sword. Definitely use that. Now, this guy is kind of mean. If he's a caster, get behind him or get in his face. Wail on him. He has a pretty strong melee attack. Don't even let him do that. Just stay in his face and finish him. He does pretty meaty damage, so do that as quickly as you can. Do not be afraid of him. Now, once again, we've got options. Let's take the first route over here. We got treasure. Treasure is always good. I don't think myself to be too materialistic, but hey, it's a video game. Treasures are always nice, especially in the early game. But you see a broken door, so you're going to break it even further and see what's hiding up here. See, I told you to make friends with every NPC you find, but he's in jail and there might be a reason for that. It's your choice whether or not you want to open it, but we're going to open it. Maybe if we do that, he'll be friends with us. So you go out of there and you go to the only other path that's available to you. And you go up these stairs. See, fog door might mean boss fight, it might not mean boss fight, but that looks like a belfry of some sort. We were told to ring bells, so let's have at it. However, this is Dark Souls, and the game likes to really mess with you, and yeah, if you didn't think those gargoyles weren't coming to life, yeah, we got a fight on our hands, boys. See, this was a very hard fight for me when I first started. It's a really good speed bump for a lot of early game players, because they don't know how to deal with it. They try to learn their patterns, and they stay at a distance, which is all well and good. You have no healing, which is probably something I should have mentioned before. You've got no healing. That makes any boss fight not a fun time. Oh! Environmental awareness. And I didn't even follow it. Alright, there's definitely something to keep in mind here. Do you remember that I said that there was an NPC that gave me something that I can use to summon him? Well, summoning can only occur when you're human, or not hollow. And what you have to do there is use one of your humanities and then reverse your hollowing at the bonfire. At this point you should have several humanity at least, so reversing or hollowing once shouldn't be the end of the world. And I'm actually going to be honest right now, that death wasn't staged. I was planning on having the fight go at least halfway, but I actually did not mean to die there. I feel kind of silly that I did that, which just goes to show you that even a seasoned player, if you become complacent, you will be punished in this game, and that's what I like about it. It teaches you that very early on. It still continues to teach you to this day, even if you're a seasoned player like myself, that if you don't have awareness of your surroundings, you will be punished. Alright, and the most awesome thing, I think, is that that big bad boy and that big bad boy, neither of them respawned. You know, they're a special kind of elite, I guess you could say. So you don't have to worry about them. See, now, we're going to try something. Do you think I can run through all these guys without being punished for it? Because there are a lot of them. In the early days, when I just wanted to get to the boss fight, I actually died a lot more to these guys than I did actually the boss. So, 3 guesses what I eventually ended up doing. Alright, so now that we've reached the top, you see these little runes etched on the ground. You can now summon an NPC because you reversed your hollowing. So you're going to hit summon, wait for the summon to go out, and now you've actually got these mobs right where you want them. You have them coming up one at a time, so you've explored their AI, I guess you can say. And now they're not going to swarm you. Look at that majestic sun, bro. This guy's going to help you. He actually does more damage than you do, and you can take more damage. But this only occurs if you talk to him. If you didn't talk to him and accept his gift, and try to make friends with him, you wouldn't have this wonderful man to help you out. Now, I recommend learning the boss's patterns by yourself. You know, I recommend doing that. It's a much better experience. But if you're really struggling, then you can summon this guy, and he will help you out. Because let's just say the fight gets harder. And look at that. One of the coolest things about this game is there's a lot of things that if you chop off their tail, you get a weapon. See, now you might notice a second health bar. A second gargoyle just joined the fight, and he's got extra tricks up his sleeve. So if you thought the first guy was a pain in the ass, it just got harder. This is definitely one of the best perks of summoning help, because this fight is a gank fight, but you know what? You've got help. So you can isolate their attention and take them on 1v1. Make sure you grab your souls from earlier so those don't go to waste. Alright, now that's 1. See, now you've turned the tides against them. Now it's 1v2 in your favor. He's got his attention. You can wail on him. But don't get too greedy. I was kind of wildly swinging, just trying to end the fight, but I missed a bunch of times, and that can lead to you being punished. But as you can see, victory achieved, which I consider the first real boss of the game, because the first 2 probably aren't going to pose a major challenge, but these guys, they're a gank, you're outnumbered, it's a precarious setting, as you can see. I'm a seasoned player who fell off the church like a dumbass, but those are all things you have to take into account, and when you summon somebody, it makes it easier. Now, do you want to make it easier by summoning help, or do you want to take on the challenge of learning the boss all by yourself? See, I fell into that camp when I first played the game, but I eventually just I started summoning, the Sunbro. Solaire, his name is Solaire, but we call him Sunbro in the community. Because he's just so warm and bro-like, and we love him. So you can always summon help if you want to, but you definitely don't have to. Alright, see now that's a bell. Obviously. First part of your quest has been achieved. Now, you were given something at the end of that fight. You were given a Homeward Bone. See, we're a good while away from that bonfire we rested at, but if we use this Homeward Bone, we can return to that bonfire. We have a lot of souls. We don't want to risk, dying on the way back to something silly. We have a lot of souls. We want to get right back to the bonfire and level up. Because even though I told you that leveling up isn't massively important, when you have that many souls, you can get a lot of levels, which really does contribute to your power in the early game. Also use the souls that you got from the mobs earlier just to add to that. Alright, we're going to level up, and we have a lot of points. So, I stick to the Holy Trinity, which is health, damage, and stamina. I'm going to put 2 in each. There we go. More health, more endurance, more strength. See now, you'll notice the counter in the top left corner says 2, right next to my health bar. That's the amount of humanity that I currently have banked, I guess if you will. Not only can you reverse your hollowing with that, which I already did obviously, you can kindle the bonfire. If you do that, you'll be able to have 5 more Estus flasks than before. So you'll have more healing as you go throughout your adventures, which I think is wonderful. Because, hey, who doesn't like some more healing? Now we're going to go back to the church because there's something I definitely want to show. Something that's very important because, like I said, Dark Souls is a game about exploration and environmental awareness and shortcuts. This is an elevator. Where's it going to take you? Firelink Shrine. This is the area we were at just after the tutorial. That little hub area, I guess you can call it. That beautiful music kicks in, and here we are, baby. We're home. Not every bonfire, but with a lot of main area bonfires like this, there's a Firekeeper. If you have a Firekeeper soul, like the one we just got from the parish, always select this option, Reinforce Estus Flask. It now says Estus Flask +1. We can now heal for just a little bit more each time. Alright, we're home, we're cozy. We talked about exploration, which we've only just scratched the surface of. There's going to be lots more to talk about in that department. We talked about NPCs, we overcame the first real boss of the game. When I first started this game, this was a real big milestone for me, because those gargoyles were a big pain in the rear when I didn't have the help of our son bro, Solaire. So I think this is a good time to stop for now. I will be back, and so you guys see me again. Live well.